Hi, this is Doug Bradley, Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies, and you are listening to Without Your Head. And you'd better keep listening to Without Your Head, or you will not only be without your head, you will be without your soul, because I will tear it apart.
Welcome to the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I was going to say Nasty Neil, but I am Sweet Neil Jones for the month of October.
This is Annabelle Lecter.
Yes, and we are joined by a special guest here this evening. We have Izzy Lee, the producer of Nevermore, an evening with Edgar Allan Poe, which all of us will be going to see next week. We're excited about that. And
thank you.
Yeah, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you? It's the week to the unveiling of the bust, and then a day later we do the show. So I'm good.
It's excellent. Been very good. All these things are fast approaching. There's so much going on for the end of the month of October in horror, and for you guys, I mean, that's an awful lot. And you were just talking with us about how long this process has been for just that one night. So how does that feel coming towards the end of the road?
Oh my God, I'm looking forward to a vacation. I've been working on this thing for 6 months, so I'm going to be really, really excited when Jeffrey Combs is finally on stage and everyone else gets to see his genius, because he's an astounding Poe. And to anyone who's seen the show before, or the Black Cat, Masters of Horror episodes, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now, what
is it that made this process a 6-month event? Because, you're building it to one night, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there going, why? It's 6 months to get this one. I don't even know if it's a full 2 hours. So if you can explain, I'm sure you got stories.
Well, there are a lot of moving parts to producing any, type of performance, whether it's theater, whether it's film. I mean, I generally work in film, so this is all new to me. But so, in either medium, you have to find a location. That can take a while. You have to sign on your star. That can also take a while due to, his or her schedules. You have to negotiate with both the location and, your crew and cast. You have to get together your crew. You have to start acquiring props and furniture. You have to, start to writing, I've been writing press releases and talking to press, trying to garner exposure. But I've also been working on the Kickstarter as well with my partner, sculptor Brian Moore, and that takes a really long time. If anyone out there, if you've done Kickstarter, it's just, it's a full-time job. You've got to source donors, you've got to, do all the write-ups. You've got to keep promoting, and it's just a harrowing experience, It's not an easy thing to do at all. But, it takes so much time than you would ever think.
Without us...
Yeah, I know from personal experience, the behind-the-scenes stuff, even running our little podcast, it is a lot, and I think people don't, for sure, unless you've been there, time goes by so fast, and you have all these plans, and then it whips by.
Yeah, exactly.
Without spoiling the night, can you give people like a brief idea of what we'll be seeing?
Absolutely. So we're going back in time for one night. It's a one-man, 90-minute performance, and if you really think about it, it's one person, memorizing 90 minutes of dialogue. How insane is that?
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind that he can do that, but it's a testament to his talent and his dedication. So we're going back to the 1840s, and writers, to make ends meet, they used to go and do lecture tours. Not unlike, book readings today, where Stephen King will go out and sell books and do a reading. It's different in the fact that it was more of a, let's get up at the podium, let's speak to the audience. So it's that. However, the kicker is that Poe, in his time, he had a lot of enemies, and he wasn't shy about making new ones. So he would go on these tours, and he would heckle other writers, and he made enemies, especially the literati here in Boston. And he would call them out on stage. And so there's a little bit of that. There's a lot of funny things that happen, and there's a lot of really sad things that happens, you know. And this is in addition to him reciting his famous works like The Raven. So without giving too much away, we get to sort of go back in time and see Jeffrey as he channels Poe, and it is such an astonishing performance that you're going to forget that you're watching an actor. So I can't wait for everyone to experience that.
It does sound absolutely incredible. As you're describing, it's not only the entertainment value of watching this person and the absolutely impressive, that, as you said, the 90 minutes worth of dialogue, but it is history. I mean, I like Poe. I've liked Poe for many years. I think a lot of the people in the audience feel the same. But I don't know a lot about the guy. And it sounds like, you know, I've always thought in history class, if they presented history as a story, then it sinks in and you really appreciate it. And I think this will, without a doubt, give that to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, you're getting a slice in the life of Poe as he existed. I think Dennis Paoli, who wrote the play, he said in a recent interview with my associate producer, Mark Redfield, he said that about 75 to 85% of it, it's all actually Poe's words. So this is taken from things he actually said, things that were recorded, and then, you know, we have some creative license here and there, and it's a really, really different play. You know, I'll also add that I think this is really the only Poe that I've ever seen with a Virginian lilt. You know, he was born here in Boston. He grew up in Virginia and lived in Baltimore for a time as well. And, he went to West Point. He was a Virginian guy, so he would go here, he would go there, but he has a Southern accent, so, and Jeff nails it perfectly. So it's a really, really different portrayal. You know, it's not just Poe, the master of the macabre. It's Poe as the very, very flawed human being. It's got a real humanity about the role, and I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Now, how did your involvement all come about? You said, you know, it's been working on this for 6 months. Did you see the play beforehand? Like, I really want to bring this to New England, or?
Yes, I saw it in 2010 at Fantasia in Montreal. It had also played the Alamo Drafthouse at Fantastic Fest in Austin. And, you know, Stuart was directing it out in L.A. It had a run for 6 months out there, a very successful run. And I had sort of always wanted to bring it out here, but the pieces had never really come together. There was a juxtaposition of schedules, negotiations in terms of, you know, who can do what or who's able to do what and who gets paid what. And I had wanted to bring it to, you know, be part of Boston Underground Film Festival, which I used to work for, but it had just never happened. So when Brian Moore asked me to help him produce the unveiling of the Poe bust here in Boston at the BPL, I said, wait a minute, you know Jeff Combs and you know Stuart. Do you think that we could possibly do a second event and have Nevermore here the next night? And he said, oh my God, yeah, let's try to work on this. And so, you know, it took a little while of like, okay, can Stuart come out here? Can he not? And it turns out he's doing the Reanimator musical flying out in LA right now. And so sadly he won't be able to make it. But Dennis Paoli will be there, and of course Jeffrey Combs will be there. So, yeah, the stars finally all aligned.
That's very cool. Now, you mentioned a few times about the bronze bust unveiling, and that'll be a week from today at Boston Public Library. And your co-producer, did he actually design the bust and actually make it?
He did. He's a sculptor. He's a sculptor and an former FX guy. So he did, I don't know if you've ever been to Necronomicon in Providence, but last year he worked on the H.P. Lovecraft bronze bust and unveiled that at the Providence Athenaeum. So anybody down in Providence can go and visit that anytime. And he decided he wanted to do Poe. And so, yeah. So we met last year, and he gave me a call and said, do you want to do this with me? And I said, oh, fuck yeah. There was no thinking about it. There was no, you know, let me sleep on this. I instantly wanted to be a part of this.
Now, you know, reading about the Kickstarter, and, you know, obviously it's great when anyone would donate, fans and whatnot. But you had some really big names who helped with the Kickstarter. What's that feeling like when you start to see people like or George R. R. Martin and Guillermo del Toro, helping to fund it?
It feels amazing. It really does. I mean, I remember when I was 12 years old, sitting in a theater in the middle of the day on a class field trip, and watching Poe plays, The Cask of Amontillado, and, The Telltale Heart, and always loving Poe. And now Guillermo del Toro is giving us $10,000 for his own personal bust for his collection. It's dumbfounding. We're very, very lucky.
Mm-hmm. So, who's all going to be at the unveiling Thursday? And it's open? Well, obviously, it'll be open to the public since it's the public library.
Yeah, it'll be open to the public, and that'll be from 6 to 7 on October 30th at the Boston Public Library. It will be in the Abbey Room of the McKim Building, which is the building that faces the Trinity Church and all that. It will be myself. It will be Brian Moore, the sculptor. It will be Jeffrey Combs. And I'm hoping Dennis Paoli will be in there, and Poe expert Paul Lewis. So Paul and Brian will be talking about Poe as we unveil it. And I hope everybody loves it, because I've seen photos, and I already love it and want to give it a hug.
Now, I know Jeffrey has played Poe before on Masters of Horror.
Yeah.
How similar does he play Poe? The same in that as he does on Play, or is it different?
He does. It's the same character, but it's not a ferocious, character portrayal. It's not a narrative in the fact that he's having delusions and killing cats and things like that. It's him talking on stage, and you sort of watch him devolve from comedy into madness and a little bit of tragedy there. It's really, really transformative and very, very different from anything else I've ever seen. A lot of people that I've spoke to over the weekend at the Nevermore booth at Rock and Shock have said, "Oh, hey, this sounds exactly like Hal Holbrook used to do in An Evening with Mark Twain. Have you seen that?" I'm like, I haven't. But apparently Hal Holbrook, back when Jeff and Stuart were doing the LA run, showed up at one of the plays and said, this is wonderful, and Jeff was very touched by that. So
that's awesome.
It seems to be similar, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you talked about Rock and Shock. How was the Rock and Shock experience for you?
It was awesome. A lot of people came up to us and said, "Oh, we have our tickets. We can't wait. Let's buy the art print too," because I commissioned an art print from Phantom City Creative, who is out in LA right now at the Key Art Illustration Awards, because they're just phenomenal. So we've got a beautiful image of Jeff as Poe, we've got ravens flying out of his hair, and ink drips, and the black cat and the telltale heart in there, and that'll be a limited edition art print. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I start to think about this artwork and I get so excited. We'll be selling that at the lobby the night of the show on Halloween. And we're actually going to be doing a couple of signings, and we have illustrator Graham Humphreys coming in as well to do signings alongside Jeff, because he did the artwork for the Poe Bronze Bust project, and he decided to come over from the UK and hang out with us.
Oh,
so
that's
that'll
awesome.
be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a beautiful image. It absolutely is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, they all come with autographs by Jeff, so you can either get them for pre-sale at www.nilenoctum.com, or, you can pick them up in the lobby. We're going to be at Kamikaze on the 30th from 12 to 2, which is a comic shop in Davis Square. We'll also be in Salem at Scarlet Letter Press and Gallery on October 29th from 6 to 8. So please come out, say hi, come hang out with us.
Awesome. Now, since it is Halloween night, is it okay if people dress up in costume when they come and see Nevermore?
Yeah, I mean that's fine by me. There's no dress code. There's no come in costume, there's no come in costume.
Right.
It's not really a Halloween show. More of that, it's a really, really different Halloween treat, a really different performance. That said, it's family friendly, although we don't, advertise like bring your kids because they'll just be bored. Probably everyone under the age of 12 will be pretty bored. So yeah.
Now, you mentioned it's not a Halloween thing per se, but just the overall atmosphere of being in New England. You're a New England person. How much do you think that impacts the setting just to set up the show, how people are getting into it, how they're coming into it mentally?
How much does New England factor into the show?
Yeah.
Well, we have, Dennis has written in a few references to Boston for the performance.
Oh.
So that'll be fun. I think from what I remember, he will be heckling Longfellow and maybe Emerson within the performance. As we are set in New England, since Poe was born in Boston, it is really apropos to finally have this play here. But we're really excited, the leaves are falling and turning red and orange, and God, it's going to be magical.
Now, this might be more of a question for Jeffrey Combs, but had he always been interested in Edgar Allan Poe, or did he get more into him through Stuart Gordon, who I know has done a lot of stories based off his and Lovecraft?
He got interested through Stuart. There was actually an interview today that Mark put online with Stuart Gordon, and it does go into that, and you can check that out at the Edgar Allan Poe Bronze Busts Project Facebook page.
Very cool. I will check that out then.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it all started, with Lovecraft with Stuart, because he's done a lot of Lovecraft-type stuff, but, he wanted to start to do something with Poe with the Masters of Horror episode, and finally convinced Jeff to do a run of the stuff out in L.A. with Nevermore, and it ended up being a big hit. Jeff happens to look a lot like Poe, and I think from what I've heard and seen and read that their temperament is similar, and it's just astonishing, once he's on stage and he's got his wig on and the period clothes and everything. It's quite uncanny to see the transformation.
You mentioned his personality. What was it like to work with him?
Jeff has been intense. I respect him tremendously as an artist, and I just love watching him work, He just brings this gravitas to his roles, and it's impossible to look away. I actually was so tired that night of the Reanimator screening that I wasn't going to stay for it, but once the theme songs started playing and that those awesome animated titles started going, I was like, oh my God, I'll just take a few minutes. A few minutes started to be half the film, all right, I'm going to stay for the whole thing, because it's just such an amazing film.
Yeah.
It's so well directed.
Is he as intense? Because you're absolutely, completely agree. We're sitting there watching it and just remembering this guy he's got his own kind of charisma that really hooks you. Even in that role, how much is his personality kind of similar to that level of intensity? Is it really that much?
Just about. It depends on the day.
It's interesting because he's in this new movie, Motivational Growth, and I was listening to the commentary track the other night, and the director had said that since working with Jeffrey, that's become a phrase, is you've really Jeffrey combed it, like if you're really into the role and very intense, and so it's very interesting, I thought.
That's awesome. How was the film? I haven't seen it yet.
It's fun. I don't know if you're familiar with what it's about or anything, but Jeffrey plays the mold, the voice of the mold. And,
oh my God, are you serious?
Yes.
I need to watch
this. Is this poor guy, he looks like a total slob. He's in his home. It's a disaster. He's in his bathroom sitting on the floor. I don't know. He's depressed. I don't know what's going on. And he's got this mushy grossness in the corner. All the tiles are nasty and grubby. And that thing in the corner talks to him.
Oh my God.
And it's got a mouth. And that's Jeffrey Combs.
Oh my God! Wow.
We just found out about this. We were at Mad Monster Party in Seattle just a couple weeks ago, and that the director was there. Don, what's his last name?
Thacker.
Don Thacker, that's right.
Okay.
He's very intense as well in a different way. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Neil's gonna bring it, but
Nice.
Yeah, and it's all practical effects. It's like a puppet mold and voiced by
good.
Jeffrey Combs.
I love practical.
Yeah.
Nice.
So 2 days next week, really big for you. You get the bust unveiling on Thursday, and then Nevermore on Friday.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing point in my life. I'll probably remember it on my deathbed, when your life is flashing before your eyes and all that shit. But it'll also be a relief that, I don't have to do anything else now. It is done, and now I can enjoy this. I can really enjoy this like everybody else is going to.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said before, it's not about money, it's not about fame, it's about like, oh my God, I saw this, and it was just so wonderful up in Montreal. And I can't wait to spread the magic, I'm so excited.
So what do you think that's wonderful, and you can tell this isn't just you kind of covering your tracks, knowing that this is going to blow, but I'm going to pretend it's going to be awesome. So what do you
really
think?
Is. I'm really excited.
You can tell just by your voice, you've got that amped up feeling about it. You could hear the smile on your face.
Yes.
Where do you think all this energy around this, what do you think you guys are going to do from here as far as, where are you moving on to next? And do you think that energy is going to just kind of snowball into other projects?
Well, I hope so. Brian will be working on, right now he's attempting to, when he finally mails out all the Kickstarter rewards after he gets home from Boston, he's putting together a Stoker bust that he's trying to put in Philadelphia somewhere. I've been making short films. I may do something feature-wise and sort of test those waters. I'm not sure yet. And Jeffrey, of course, he'll continue to do acting and voiceover work, and Stuart's got his Reanimator musical, so it's all good.
Have you seen that? I have not seen the Reanimator musical.
I haven't. It's only been in L.A. I would really like to see it, actually.
Yeah, that's very good. I would too. What kind of short films do you make, by the way?
I make short DIY horror films with a feminine twist, which means I'm an angry chick, and I have something to say. So, yeah.
Do you have anything that you can share with us? Because I know we're definitely interested in independent stuff, and here you are. So if we wanted to find your work, where would we go?
Well, the films have been playing the film festival circuit, and I think that I will probably make them available soon, although they might be included in a disc of DVDs. I'm sorry, like a DVD of short films, so I'm not sure that I can put them online for everyone to see. But, I can send you guys a link to watch them.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere people could go if they were going to watch for that and see, if you're going to make this DVD or do various other things?
Yeah. You could check in with me online at www.nihilnoctem.com, which is NIHILNOCTEM, as I'm stuttering over my words here.
It's bad when you can't spell your own website, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm online, I'm on Twitter. Oh, man. But yeah, I'll be making a music video next, and then there are some other projects because I have trouble saying no to fun things, and we'll see.
Well, very cool. I look forward to seeing your work.
Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping the new one will be premiering at Boston Underground Film Festival. That stars Casey Lansdale and Diana Porter. Casey Lansdale is Joe Lansdale's daughter, and she's a sweetheart and a great actress, and no one knows it yet, so I would like to make the world...
When is that?
What's that? When is it?
Yeah.
If it plays, it will be buff plays the end of March, and it's called Postpartum. It's a short horror film about what it means to be a mom and what it means to lose your mind. So there's a little bit of both in there.
That'll be at the
I don't know if this is quite in the scope of the entire interview, but it's come up a lot lately, and I am curious, is how do you feel as a woman in this environment of horror?
Well, I've been addicted to horror since I was a very, very young, wee little girl. Do you mean, is it a boys' club or something like that?
Any of that, because we talked with Barbie Wilde, and it's come up on the show. There are more women that are visible in horror and filmmaking and as actresses. So
Right.
do you feel that at all? Do you feel like it's had any impact on what you've done, or have you kind of navigated it and not really felt like it's been an issue at all?
Well, I can see things, but it hasn't impacted me in the fact that no one's told me no because of my gender, at least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do notice that a lot more dudes will get a chance just because that's the way things will always be. I don't know if you've ever seen, Ty West's first film, The Roost, but if you watch it, you'd be like, how did anybody ever give this guy any money to do anything else ever again? And now he's this big name, and I'm glad for him, but it's just like if he was a woman and he made that film, like his career would be over. It's just things like that a lot of people don't really think about. The Soskas are having some great luck, and it's probably primarily due to their personalities and, the way they market themselves, which is fine. You have to hustle in this business no matter what. So they're doing great, and I'm really happy for them. They're sweet. But yeah, it's something that, a lot of my friends who are female directors always notice. And it doesn't matter what city they're in, whether it's LA, it's, New York, it's Montreal. It's just kind of like, we're like, hey, can we play in your sandbox too? We're really cool. We have the same ideas. Let's collaborate, and it's kind of like it's knocking and banging and trying to kick open those doors to get somebody to say yes to us. It's really in the hands of the decision makers. So, we'll see. Regarding the statistics, at least in Hollywood, it's better for women in the indie scene, for sure. Mm-hmm. And so there's at least that, I guess, because Hollywood itself is just really, really bad. It's gotten worse. You can read any article on, IndieWire or in, Movie Maker about that sort of thing. I used to work with the Viscera organization, and that's what really, really, really made me aware of the disparities between gender and film. And, I've only been directing for 2 years, and it had never really occurred to me that I should direct a film. I was always a fan. I was always, a writer and a programmer for festivals, for films. But it wasn't until I got really, really pissed off that I decided to try this. It was always like, oh, well, I should be an actress or a makeup artist, because those are the directions that society will push you in because of your gender. It's like it is so ingrained in our society that this is just how we are raised to think. So to think outside of that, pink little ghetto box, it's eye-opening. It's really eye-opening, I decided to start making films when that shithead Todd Aiken, who I don't know if he's still a representative or senator in our government, but he was the guy that came out with a quote about fucking legitimate rape, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? All right, you know what? You're ridiculous and you're wrong, and I'm going to make some art about it because otherwise I'd have to go to jail. I'm so pissed off. So yeah.
Yeah, I've told a story before on the show. I think it was this earlier this year. I was at a convention in Atlanta, and I was talking to an independent female director, and she was talking to these other podcast guys they're going to interview the next day, and they were just going over how they're going to introduce her, and they were like, well, we're going to introduce you as so-and-so, the female director of whatever, and she's like, well, if you were interviewing, whoever, would you say the male director?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found it very funny.
Was that Dana, by the way?
What was that?
Yeah.
Was her name Dana?
Yes, Dana Nofke, yes.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, she's very cool. I drank all our vodka. I ordered a bottle of vodka. But
Nice.
That whole thing where they, something like that, it's kind of like the podcast person is trying to almost promote them by saying that, which is really funny because when I first came on the show, it was very similar, and a lot of it's very innocent and well-intentioned, but it's kind of like that. You wouldn't say, the black person, this blah, you wouldn't say, it's very odd.
Yeah.
Totally.
That comes up.
Not by me, by the way. There's other people who listen to the show.
No, Neil's very cool.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be here.
Everywhere, we haven't gotten to a point where it doesn't matter yet, and it's still a differentiator for better or for worse. For promotion, I'll be like, fuck yeah, call me female director. For everything else, I'd be like, oh, God damn it, But it's fine, and that's why we need stuff like Women in Horror Month. Some people fucking hate it, some people love it. I say, because we have a society that hates and loves it, we might as well have it. This is why we need it, because we need this discussion,
Well, we look forward to seeing you next week and looking forward to seeing Nevermore.
Awesome. I'm really excited.
Oh, I can't wait. Mm-hmm. I'm more excited having this interview. I really am. Is this a sold-out show?
It's getting there. I think we've sold around 500 tickets, and the theater holds over 800. So I would say if you want to come to the show and if you don't have Halloween plans, or if you would like to accentuate your Halloween plans, please join us. You can buy tickets at the Somerville Theater's website or their box office in person.
Mm-hmm.
And every ticket gets you a free showing after the play, Mask of the Red Death on 35mm with the one, the only Vincent Price.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's very exciting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Neil, you had mentioned that's a follow-up. That's excellent. Yeah. And, Neil and I, I brought him to Salem. It was his first year in Salem last year. We were talking about it. I'm like, there's no way. There's no comparison. You can go to Salem. You can do a lot of these things anytime.
Yeah.
Chances are this is the only time this is going to happen.
It is.
In Boston.
So
if people are out, they can go, freaking go. This is going to be, like you're describing, this will be something to remember forever.
It really will. Some people are like, oh, I'm bringing my kids trick-or-treating. I'm like, don't you do that every year? Really? You can't get your wife or your husband to do that? Really? Come on now.
Yeah, or bring them beforehand.
Go to other towns, too, because other towns do trick-or-treating different days.
Yeah, I know. It's
get around to some of the neighborhood.
Well, to each his own.
But it's their loss, and that seat will be filled with someone who would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So we hope to talk to you again sometime.
Oh, yeah, me too. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Keep us posted on any projects you do. If you want to do updates, just get in touch, and we'd be more than happy to have you on the show again.
Awesome. I would love to. Thanks so much.
Very cool.
Great. Absolutely.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, this is Jill Six, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.